Number 5. 2012 Wimbledon final versus Andy Murray. It had been 2.5 years at the 2010 Australian Open since Federer had last won a Grand Slam. This is the longest he'd gone without winning one since he won his first in 2003. And I can remember heading into this tournament wondering, does he have it in him to win another one? There was the third round match versus Julian Benneteau where he went 2 sets down and somehow managed to come back and win that one. There was the mammoth victory over Djokovic in the semi-final. But as for the final itself, I think from a purely purist tennis fan standpoint, it was the most beautiful performance Federer ever put on in the final. His level of shot making was just exquisite. And to be fair to Murray, he really threw everything at him and took the first set, but once Federer leveled up and made it 1 set all, there was only ever going to be one winner. This final is also significant, of course, because Federer equaled Pete Sampras' record of winning 7 Wimbledon titles, a record he would surpass 5 years later. Number 4. 2008 US Open versus Andy Murray. There are 2 specific reasons why this is on the list. Firstly, if you look back at the year Federer had going into this event, it was really tough. He suffered with mono earlier in the year, which I really think cost him winning the Australian Open. Then there was that straight sets loss to Nadal at the French, and then a month later that crushing loss to Nadal at Wimbledon. An iconic match, but one I've never been able to look back at fondly, because I remember how I felt at its conclusion. So for Federer to go on and win the US Open was huge. Huge for his career, huge for us his fans. After all those crushing losses, it just made it that bit more sweet. The other reason, of course, is because of his 5th consecutive year winning the US Open. The same feat he achieved at Wimbledon 1 year earlier. This is something no man has ever done in the men's game. To win 2 different Grand Slams, 5 consecutive years in a row. Number 3. 2007 Wimbledon final versus Rafa Nadal. Like the previous entrant, this gets on first and foremost because it was the 5th consecutive year Federer had won Wimbledon. And this is a feat only Bjorn Borg had achieved in the past. I always felt that if I'd been alive during Borg's career, he would have been one of my favourites. He had the same grace, style and elegance that Federer possessed. And as for the final itself, Federer had to beat Nadal in 5 sets. And these are victories Federer fans don't take for granted. I think sometimes it's unfairly overlooked because of the 2008 final, but it was a great match and another historic victory for Federer. Number 2. 2009 French Open final versus Robin Soderling. If you're a fan of Federer, I think it's pretty obvious why it's on the list. This victory allowed him to achieve the career Grand Slam. It gave him his one and only French Open title, and I think that makes it that bit more important and significant. The final itself was pretty much one-way traffic, although I do remember him playing one of the greatest tiebreaks of his career to win the second set. But aside from match point where he sank to his knees in celebration, the more memorable aspects of this French Open run were the semi-final victory over Del Potro and that 4th round victory over Tommy Haas. A match where he had been 2 sets down and break point down in the 3rd set, before unleashing an inside-out forehand clipping the line, saving break point, going on to hold serve, win the 3rd set, and eventually win the match. I think it's safe to say that forehand was the most important shot of Federer's career, as it allowed him to win the match, go on and win the French Open, and of course achieve the career Grand Slam. Number 1. 2017 Australian Open final versus Rafa Nadal. After all those brutal defeats to Nadal, this just seemed like the ultimate gift to every Federer fan. Not just that he won, but the manner in which he won it. If you remember, he was broken in the first game of the 5th set and missed countless breakback point opportunities. But Federer kept being brave. He kept being positive. His backhand was incredible. He'd never been hitting it better in his whole career. And by the end of it, he just blew Nadal off the court. Federer had been out injured for the previous 6 months. He hadn't won a major in 4 years. If he'd retired after that final, I would have been perfectly happy. The sheer elation I felt after that final, I told myself, anything else he wins in his career will be a bonus.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, please give it a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what will be your top 5 favourite Grand Slam victories of Roger Federer? But until next time, it's long a fall.